Yo, what is up, guys? So what is the cost of living situation in the Bay Area? For a lot of us who live in the Bay Area, it's probably one of the most expensive places to live in the United States. But fortunately, the salaries do tend to adjust to the high cost of living. But still, it's not easy for a lot of people. Someone recently posted something on Blind where they basically laid out all their expenses and they're trying to ask the question, are they making the right decisions? Can they save more? So let's just go ahead and jump into the post, and I'm going to give you guys my own personal thoughts on whether this person is doing well financially and where they can also make some improvements. So the title of this post says Bay Area Cost of Living. This person works at Pinterest and their total comp is $264,000. It says here they are married and they're currently renting an apartment, and their minimum cost of living per month is as follows. Rent and utilities, $2,800. Rent, $2,600. Internet, $60. Electricity, $40. Miscellaneous utilities, $100. They have a car payment of roughly $600. Car insurance of $120. Gas, $150. Food, $1,000. Gym, $180. So a total of about $4,600 to $5,000. It also says that they are not including shopping and any other unnecessary spending. Let's just assume that this is the fixed cost to live in the Bay Area, all the necessities, and then of course they would have some disposable income for other things. They're asking the question, is this reasonable? Anywhere I could save more? All right, so let's just kind of do the math here. So if they're roughly making $264,000 gross, right? You divide that by 12, what is that? Roughly $2,100, $2,200, somewhere around there. You take 65% of that after tax, that comes out to about $12,000 a month. And so if they're spending that, if they're earning that much and then they're spending roughly $5,000 a month, that means that they would have roughly $6,000 to $7,000 in net income, in disposable funds that they could invest, that they could buy whatever. So yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I mean, it says that you're married, right? So I'm assuming that you guys are sharing an apartment. I'm also going to assume that you guys don't have kids. So you guys are what a lot of people call dinks, dual income, no kids. Now, you don't mention what your spouse's income is, but let's just assume that your spouse is making somewhat similar. So roughly you guys are in tandem saving around $6,000, $7,000 a month individually, which turns out to be about $12,000, $13,000 a month. That's pretty good. I would say, assuming you guys don't have kids and you guys aren't going crazy spending all of your disposable income on luxury handbags or expensive sports cars or anything like that, I would say you're doing pretty well. To be honest with you, I think people who make this type of salary in the Bay Area, they probably do live in either a nicer apartment if they want to splurge more, or they might have roommates or housemates where they can, spend a lot less and pay $1,000, $1,200 a month on rent. I remember when I first moved to the Bay Area, I wasn't making a huge salary. I was actually making like $50K, and I got a room on Craigslist, and I was paying around $500, $600 a month. And I did that for quite some time. And literally, I'm just moving into my own place next week, where I'm going to be paying a lot more rent, but it's also going to be my own private place, and it's going to be a little bit more comfortable and whatnot. Yeah, man, it's not cheap to live in the Bay. What you pay in rent in the Bay Area is literally the cost of a mortgage in other places like Florida or Texas, where you can get a nice, well, maybe not now because housing prices have gone up so much, but before the housing bubble, you could get a nice, 3-4 bedroom, 2,000, 3,000 square foot in a lot of these other areas, and pay that as a mortgage where you can actually build equity rather than just throwing it on rent. But still, the fact that you're saving roughly $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, and then putting that to whatever you want, investments, crypto, stock market, or other types of investments, or maybe even a business, I would say you're doing pretty well. Your rent is probably, about average, assuming you're living in the South Bay. If you're living in San Francisco, rents are probably a little bit higher there, although it does fluctuate from time to time. I know San Francisco is probably not the best place to be right now, especially with all the looting and the homeless problem and all the crime right now. But certain nicer areas like the Mission Bay area are going to command a lot more in terms of rent because it's also newer and safer there. But for the most part, I think you're paying about market average for rent there. So you probably can't make too many savings there. The single biggest area where I think you can save money is on the car payment. Assuming that you bought a brand new car or even a used car and you're making, $580 a month on that, does seem to be a lot there. So if you can downgrade to another car, or maybe sell one car and just have one car for the two of you guys, or even get rid of both cars and just bike or Uber, I think you can have a lot of savings there. Other than that, I mean, you're spending $1,000 on food. To be honest with you, I think I spend a lot more than that on food. Although these days I am doing a lot more meal prep, so that's also another option. If you buy in bulk at Costco, and you're cooking and you're meal prepping and doing that, I'm sure you could bring that down to maybe $500, $400 a month, or maybe even lower than that. So depending on what you're splurging on, I would say you're doing pretty well. You're still saving roughly half of your net income. So that is a lot better than most people in the United States. I think a lot of people these days are probably living paycheck to paycheck because of high inflation, because of just rising food and service costs. But I would say for you guys, you're doing well. You're doing a lot better than probably 90% of Americans. That's my own personal thought on it. Guys, what do you think? Do you think the OP can boost their savings in other ways? Drop your suggestions in the comments down below, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.